Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to our weekly investor forum. We'll be jumping right into the company profile before we formally introduce our guest for this evening, Mr. Cecil Foster, Managing Director of Fosterage Company Limited. We encourage viewers to post their questions on social media and remember to tag us using the hashtag #MILInvestorForum. If you enjoy this program, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll also be featuring a market segment, so be sure to stick around until the end of the program. Fosterage Company Limited is a leading distributor of electrical, lighting, energy, LED, and solar and industrial products. Fosterage has partnered with large global companies such as Philips Lighting, Siemens, Nexans Cable, General Electric, and Huawei Fusion Solar in providing the products that their valued customers require. In 2019, Fosterage opened its manufacturing plant specializing in the production and distribution of PVC pipes and conduits. This is just one of the ways in which this company thrives in differentiating itself from its competitors. In 2017, the company was listed on the junior market of the Jamaica Stock Exchange with the trading name Fosterage. I take this moment to remind you that if you are seeking to expand your portfolio or embark on your investment journey, Mayberry can guide you to achieve your financial goals. Follow us on social media and visit our website at www.mayberryinv.com to learn more. Now let's introduce our guest for this evening. But before that, let's just go to the actual analysis of the company, and then I'll jump right back into that. As we said before, Fosterage was listed on the stock market in 2017, and they raised about $200 million at that time of the IPO when the share price was originally $2. And I'd like to introduce Cecil, and then we go back and look at that in a moment. Let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Cecil Foster. He completed his bachelor's degree in marketing with an emphasis in business development from the University of Technology in 1994. Having had the opportunity of working in the electrical industry as a sales rep, he eventually found his passion in sales. From there, the Fosterage Company Limited was born in 1994 at the Princeville Plaza in Kingston with only 3 employees. No small thanks to the hard work of Cecil and his wife, Marion, the company currently employs approximately 130 individuals across the parishes of Kingston, Mandeville, Clarendon, and Montego Bay. Even more impressive, Cecil has been able to plant these seeds of success in a time when Jamaica was experiencing a severe economic downturn. Co-founder of the Good Samaritan Inn, he is a passionate leader and philanthropist. Today, he will be giving us an investor briefing on his company, Fosterage Company Limited, and I would like to welcome Mr. Cecil Foster to our program.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Pleasure to have you. And I'd also like to introduce online our CEO of Mayberry, Gary Parrott.
Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon. Welcome, Cecil.
Excellent.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks for having me.
Good deal. So before I jump into the questions, we told you a little bit about the background of the company. I'd like to share with you guys out there, especially my financial friends, a little bit about the performance of the company. So again, this is a company that IPO'd 3 years ago, approximately December 2017 at $2. They raised $200 million in that IPO. And since the stock has traded as high as $4.50, today it's in the region of $4.26. So that's up more than 100% since the IPO. The company has a trailing 12 months earning of $100 million, has a total market cap of $2.1 billion, and as I said, it has a 52-week high of $4.50. If we look at the earnings that you're seeing there, we can see that they've managed to grow their earnings for the 9-month period, September 2020, by 17%. So in the COVID environment, still managed to grow sales by 17% and grow their profit, the bottom line, by 3% from $73 million to $75 million. So this has been very impressive results, and you can see how the stock price has traded. And I think that sets a great background for me to jump into the questions and have a conversation with Cecil about the performance of the business.
Yep.
Also online, how could I forget to welcome is our chairman, Mr. Christopher Berry. Welcome, Chris. So let me jump right into the first question. Cecil, you had invested heavily in several new products, including the new transformer repair plant in Clarendon and a distribution hub here in Kingston. How has that been going?
I am very happy to talk to you today, our shareholders, and of course Dan and Gary and Chris, about our investment in the last period of time, couple of months. We have formed a partnership with the Jamaica Public Service, where we take their transformers that are in disrepair. As you know, JPS, or some people don't know, JPS has over 40,000 transformers in operation. And from year to year, there's always need for over 2,000 to be repaired for various reasons. And so we have developed the technology by having the personnel in our employment. And in doing so, we are able to impress on JPS that we can do these transformers here in Jamaica. And I'm sure, my friend Dan, you are aware of the hills and the mountains that we had to climb, right?
Absolutely.
And so we are, at the present time, operating in a space in Clarendon, and it's a 6-acre property with 120,000 square feet of warehouse.
Excellent.
We have retrofitted the location with crane and with all the testing equipment that would be required to repair these transformers and put them back into operation and give JPS their 10-year warranty. All of this is being done by our team here in Jamaica, and we are also being big brothered by one of the leading transformer manufacturers in the world. And again, Dan, you know much about them from Canada. And so we work with them on the certification, and we are being trained by them. So we are very, very happy to see what's happening there. We have just kicked off in this month at the location, and we are going to be ramping up as we go on in the next couple of weeks. So that investment in the transformer business is something that is we think the revenue news will be significant and sustainable for a very long time. We also see that the partnership will save the Jamaica Public Service close to $1 billion within a 3 to 4 year period. So it's a significant savings for the country and for JPS itself. You asked me the question about the warehouse and so on that we're doing. Yes, we have at 76 Mullines Road started the development that will make us have what we call a fulfillment center. That's a warehouse space that is going to be state of the art. And we will occupy that space starting the 28th of this month. So we move into that space on the 28th of this month. And then the second phase is where we're going to be building a 120,000 square feet of superstore. This is a 30,000 square foot of superstore for Fosrich. And then the top floor is where the corporate office will be. And the other 2 floors, we have food, we have banks, and we have leisure. I mean, not a good time to talk about leisure, but we can do it. And so we're going to be using the space for even BPO and for private offices. And we're going to make the space at 76 Mullines Road, just across from where we are, something that people can feel good about coming into and get most of what they want in one space. And so we are looking forward to those projects bringing us good results as we go along, because where we are right now, we're kind of filled out, and so we're going to be kicking and getting things done in that respect.
Excellent. And I know a little thing or two about the transformer repair business.
A lot of things.
Based on my 16-year experience at JPS. And you're correct, it's big business. And I assume this is going to help grow the sales of the company
Yes.
in a substantial way. So we definitely look forward to that. And the second question for me is, as it relates to the new company, Blue Emerald Limited, were you successful in having it registered under the Special Economic Zone Authority?
Yes. Our plan is to manufacture or to repair the transformers under the name Blue Emerald Limited. That's a related company to Foswitch. We have gone through the process of applying for SEC certification. We are waiting. I think it won't be too long from now before we are going to be given certification so we can operate as a free zone in Hayes. So we are looking forward to that. At the location in Clarendon, we are not only going to be repairing transformers. We have 3 steps of business that we're going to be doing at the location in Clarendon. We are going to be doing the repairs of transformers. That's the first phase. And then within the next 3 to 4 months, we're going to be manufacturing PVC fittings, pipe fittings, where we do manufacture PVC pipes, which we'll talk about later. But we're going to be doing the fittings there. And July, August, we should all move into the larger SDR pipes. And so between now and the end of the year, we should be employing approximately 100 people in the Hayes, Clarendon region. And I must say, it has been the first time in maybe 40 years such investment is coming to the area in Clarendon. And so we are very pleased as a Jamaican company to be bringing back manufacturing and good employment, good opportunities for persons who are in the technical field and so on in Hayes, Clarendon. So we are looking forward to those investments turning great rewards for our shareholders.
Excellent. And what is causing the drive in demand for your PVC and industrial electrical products, despite the economic downturn?
You are aware that we started the PVC manufacturing plant just about a year and a half ago.
Right.
And we started with 3 lines. Before we were into it proper, we recognized that we needed to expand. So we have expanded the line to a 4th line. So we moved from a capacity of 1.3 million kilograms per year to 3,800 kilograms now per year. So the factory can manufacture maybe about 16 to 18 million pipes, the way mix of pipes per year. This gives Foswitch a chance to approach the larger importers. We call them distributors. They import from other countries in the Caribbean and outside of the region, and they just sell into the market. So what we have done, we have partnered with them to say, let us work and manufacture for you, and so you can sell our solid pipes into the Jamaican market. So that is a part of the reason why the demand is so great, because these partnerships with the larger importers are bringing results in demand that we probably never thought it would have come so quickly. The construction sector is also growing, and as you can see construction of houses and commercial buildings taking place all over Jamaica. And 2 and 3, we also know that every length of wire or every roll of wire that you use in Jamaica, most times you have to use a conduit to protect the wire. And so wires and conduits are like synonymous. And so both products, especially the conduits I'm speaking to now, conduits are like homogeneous products. They are in need and demanded all over the place. And so we are looking to expand, as I said earlier on, about making the larger pipes. Because what we want, the companies who import, we not only want to prevent them or ask them not to go to the market abroad for half of what they are normally buying. We want to do the entire gamut, to say, listen, Jamaica can produce these products, so there's no need for you to go abroad. And so this is where import substitution. And we are employing maybe close to 40 people in that business right now at Fosrich. And so we are very pleased and happy to be working in that space, working with our distributors. And there may be one or two other distributors who are not there yet, but I'm sure our Buy Jamaica, Employ Jamaica, Build Jamaica campaign that we are running right now will resonate with them some, and they will come on board shortly to make sure that we can protect our country. Because right now, with the economic crisis that we face, there's nobody that would say that we're not in a crisis. You would have to be under a rock, right? It means, therefore, we as Jamaicans, like other Jamaicans in the past have done, we need to say how we are going to play our part in not only making returns for ourselves, but to also grow the employment levels in the country in order to bring maybe crime down, give value to a lot of people. I can tell you, we have drivers who deliver these conduits, solid PVC conduits. We have people who manufacture them. And last week in a staff meeting, we're talking about, just getting feedback from them. And some of them were like so emotional because they were saying, we go to people that deliver these pipes, and when they get these comments, they feel so good to say that they are part of a company who is manufacturing these pipes, and they are handling these pipes, and they are also delivering these pipes. And it makes them feel good. Sometimes we forget that that's a part of what gives us pride. We see our value in delivering value a lot of times. And so, Jamaicans, we are going to be expanding and growing and developing the PVC business and solid PVC pipe. Let's work with them. Let's work with us. Let's see how we can build the brand.
Absolutely. And I have no doubt you can do it competitively, and that's the value proposition you bring to the table. Gary, any thoughts from you? Any questions for Cecil? You're muted. Still muted.
You can hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yeah. So one of the things I love about Fosrich as a business is the extremely large potential the business has for growth. And one of the areas, they have great products. And the question becomes, what can the company do to stimulate sales from its customers? In other words, are there financial institutions that are willing to give credit to your potential customers or distributors so that more of your products can move through your business?
Okay, very good question, Gary. The Fosrich products, like the wires, the switches, the plugs, and the breakers, and so on, they go directly into construction. And so, to answer your question, I think a lot of institutions right now are offering 115% or 100% mortgage loans. So in truth and in fact, for the new constructions, that is happening. It might not be happening directly, through our influence, but it is happening. For people who are developing on their own, you also have NHT that will support them in that. You have persons, though. There are some persons, there's a gap there of people who are not yet able to finance their way. We have worked with many companies in that space. We have developed a relationship with them in such a way that we make credit available to them. So it's not just, because remember, we are not just a retail outlet. We have 4 outlets, and we have maybe 8 or 9 locations for warehousing and so on. And so they will come to us and we work with them on a credit basis. Of course, it is pretty difficult to not do assessment. You have to do assessment and so on. So even if you're going to have a pool of funds, a couple $100 million, you still need to do some kind of a due diligence. So Gary, your question is a good one. And just to answer you that we are doing it in a roundabout way at this time.
Great. Fourth question for me. Currently, many countries are heading in the direction of electrifying their transportation systems. How prepared are you for such possibilities in Jamaica?
That's a very good question. That's good, very, very good question. When you look at what is happening to, say, Tesla, Elon Musk is now the richest man in the world because of his enterprise and so on. We see where we are not necessarily going to go into cars, of course, manufacturing, but if the cars come to Jamaica, they need to be charged. And I think, without saying in detail, we are in partnership with one of the global companies that is big in this space, and we are at the table. So for the shareholders and those who are listening, we are at the table with charging station. We are hoping that things will happen so we can make announcement to the country. But we are not going to be left behind. We figure, along with solar, this sector is going to be a growth sector going forward because many countries are looking forward to manufacture in the next year and onward more cars that are going to be using electricity.
Good deal. And you mentioned solar, and I remember the company recently partnered with Huawei to supply solar products to the market. What does this mean for the company, and at which end will Fostridge be competing for market share?
Okay. I'm happy we're talking about this partnership with Huawei. Huawei is a global company. We hear about Huawei in many other spaces.
Think mobile?
Yes. Huawei, a lot of people didn't know that Huawei is a global leader in a solar inverter. They are number one in Germany. They have done over $3 billion last year in the COVID year. They were 49th on the Fortune 500 list last year. Mm-hmm. And they have a fantastic digital product. The product is called this Huawei Fusion Solar. And we have partnered with Huawei to roll this out to Jamaica. We have 3 segments in Jamaica that we are going to be targeting. The regular householders, like my house, your house, and so on. The residential house. We are targeting those customers. We are going for the commercial customers too. A lot of people are drowning from high energy bills and their businesses are stagnant and so on, not growing as they should grow. We are there. And then we are going to be going for PPP. We are going for utility scale solar projects. And I must tell you, we are serious and we are going there. And this is where Gary's question can also be looked at, refinancing. That is something that we will be looking at rolling out for solar systems in the very, very near future. So people who want to buy solar to get their energy bill down and to also protect the environment.
Absolutely.
And reduce carbon emission. That is something that we are looking at helping them with. So we will be rolling that out in the next not too long from now.
Excellent. Lots of things happening at Fostridge. And you guys actually do solar hot water heaters. Something I personally have heard
about it
and seen the huge benefit in terms of reducing my energy costs.
That's a very good thing, That most people don't understand. When you get the right solar water heater, you can save between $6,000 to $10,000 from your energy bill per month.
Yeah. I feel like I've saved somewhere in the region of $4,000 to $6,000, and it's paid for itself in 12 months maybe.
Yes.
Very short payback. So I certainly highly recommend the solar water heater for those of you out there that use hot water heating. Chris, Chairman Berry, any question from you?
Yes, my question would be, considering what's happening with COVID, what are your projections for the continued growth in the construction and the energy sector this year? Because your fortunes seem very much linked to those two.
Okay. The COVID, what I've seen happen since COVID is that when it first announced that COVID was in Jamaica, there was a panic and a fear. And as you know, April last year, there was a squeeze on movement and people stayed home. Projects then were held back. After we've learned about how to deal with it a little bit more and we came out back to work, a lot of people came back out to work, the demand that was there just tripled because what's happening? Because in construction, the demand for the products that we sell, electrical products that we sell and the energy products, just don't go away. You can only delay it because once the project is financed and you're going to be moving forward with it, you just can be delayed for 2 weeks or so to deal with the shutting down of certain areas in St. Catherine and so on, and then back to normal. And so we have seen where there's a resilience there. We have also seen in the pipeline that the construction industry should be buoyant for the next 5 to 7 years. The demand for housing is far outstripping the production of housing. The government said that they are going to be producing maybe 20 to 25,000 houses a year. No, we're not even producing 4,000 right now. So you can see where the demand is. So once there is liquidity in the system, and as you know, the banks are more willing, pension funds and so on are more willing to go into hard investment like those because there's more returns on their money in that respect. You find that more construction is going to take place there. And
Absolutely.
So, and also on the energy side, everybody wants to spend zero for their energy bill. And most people I know also want to save the environment. And so when you look at our LED offerings, that's where people are. And what we have found too is that a lot of people would spend their money before COVID to travel abroad or to go on the North Coast or to go to parties or to go to buy suits and thing and go to some functions. They are now not doing all of that. And so some people have some more fluid liquidity. They have some more money to spend. And where they're spending it, to take care of their environment. Because they don't, and so you find that there's still great demand there for the product that we sell.
Excellent. And that obviously manifests itself in the fact that you grew sales by 17% for the 9-month period.
Up to the 9 month, the numbers were pretty good.
Yeah, pretty strong.
2020, yes.
And that's would include a 2-3 month period where the country really slowed down. So January to September would include that compressed period, and yet you grew sales by 17%
yes.
compared to the previous year.
Yeah, July to September was the best.
I think your best quarter ever.
Best quarter ever.
When I looked at the earnings, I had to double check. You made a $53 million profit in that quarter, which is the best quarter ever yet in the history of Foster. So very impressive, very, very impressive. What is the possibility of Fosteridge transitioning to the renewable energy supply aspect of the business? You talked about it a little bit.
Explain.
So what's the possibility of Fosteridge transitioning to renewable energy supply?
So you're talking about like the commercial, build, farm, and then supply.
Yes.
It is always good to work with partners. And we have about a big partner that we
Absolutely.
have. And it's always good to work with a partner. So if we are going to develop a farm, which we're not saying we're going to be doing that, it would be something that we want to partner with the utility provider to get transmission, the thing there. We're not there yet. We have formed this partnership with Huawei, and we see the skies as the limit, and so we will take it and come back to you. Excellent. You'll be the first to know, Dan.
I appreciate that.
And then maybe Gary.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I enjoy working with Fosteridge, and I want to declare interest that we've collaborated with you guys many times with partnerships and financing and helping the business to grow. And I just think you're very well positioned on the transformer side. You've had great relationships with folks like Siemens. On the lighting side, Siemens and Philips, you did a lot of street lights for JPS, and I assume you're still in that space. Okay, is that a fair assumption?
I don't know if we can talk about it right now, but
But
I
you're
think
still in
we're
the space,
still in that
still
space.
looking at opportunities.
So we are
there.
looking for good news very soon.
You can't bust the story here just now. And so Fosterage, I mean, I just like how you guys are positioned on the housing side, construction, the energy side, renewable side. It's a great company. Gary, any question from you?
Again, I'm back to the growth question. I noticed you have branched out into the transformer repair, which I think it's a tremendous opportunity. You talk about the solar, you talk about the construction. Are there any other growth areas that you're thinking of?
We definitely are doubling down on the energy side of things. We want to do a great job with the solar business. One, there's a revolution taking place right now. When you see a country like China has declared that by 2060 they are going to be carbon neutral, and I think they have put a marker down that they're going to be spending close to 40 trillion yuan, right, to do this. And our North American friend, with the new administration just coming in,
Biden.
he has sworn that he's going to be investing $3 trillion in renewables and so on. And from where we are sitting, we see that this is going to be the revolution, because when these products are becoming so affordable, so much more affordable to the mass, it is going to be a sight. Because nobody lights a tele lamp anymore and puts it in their house. And nobody wants to know that they don't have the best and the most efficient LED or solar product. Every day people are asking us for solar products, the solar bulb, the solar whatever it is. So I can see that, Gary, that's where we are going to be focusing on in the next couple of years, seriously, to grow there. We also see where we are now becoming more credible in the electrical industrial space. Our big brother, Siemens, work very closely with us, and so there's no high-rise buildings. There's no buildings going up now that we don't have the technology and the support to get business through them. So we can't tell you the numbers, but we are very proud about what's happening in those two areas. But of course, I can't leave out the solid PVC pipes. I can't leave it out. That area too, Gary, I think the market is roughly about $16 to $20 billion. And so we are looking towards getting half of that in the next 3 to 4 years. And so whatever we are doing now, we want to do it better and drive value to the customers, and so they can keep doing business with us and encourage Jamaicans to do business with a Jamaican-grown company that has some wonderful team members. And so beautiful people who are behind the scene working right now to get value to them. So that's what we're going to be doing.
I look forward to it. Gary, did you have a follow-up question there? Did I hear you with a follow-up?
No, I mean, again, Cecil just explains why there's just so much more potential and opportunity in this business. So it's just a function of execution. I mean, if there's a market potential of 16 billion in just one of the areas, and he feels in 3 years he's going to try and get half of that, that's 8 billion. I mean, shareholders will be happy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. On to the next one for me. Are there any plans for regional expansion in the near future, Cecil?
We presently at Fosterage are on the JAMPRO Export Max incubator program. And so we are in the process of engaging Caribbean partners who we are looking to negotiate with in this year to see how we can start to make moves into the Caribbean in that respect. We also are looking to work with governments and large companies in the Caribbean the transformer business, because the Caribbean has a lot of transformers, well, you know, that just sit there, and most times they call them and they get no value for them. So we are looking to work in those areas as we speak to see how we can come with that.
Excellent. Great. Well, the questions are coming in fast and furious from social media. I already have 3 or 4 queuing up. Chairman, did you have a question you want to ask before I jump into social media?
No, I really had a statement. Seems to me like we, the shareholders, should not be satisfied with 17% next year. 17%
growth?
Yeah.
Well, coming out of COVID, I agree.
No, I think, Chris, I think our target is more than that this year. We can't say, but we have laid on a marker. Well, remember, no, we have a couple of new lines.
Nothing from transformer sales yet, and that's going to be huge.
Nothing yet. Nothing from transformer sales yet. Yeah. Nothing from the areas that we talked about earlier on that will be coming on stream. Yeah. And so we are above that number, coming out of the era that is called, well, we still are in the era, it's called COVID era.
Right,
but,
right.
We are looking forward to better numbers.
Absolutely. I expect it myself too. All right, so let me bring in the first question from Michael Cohen. Can you comment on the retail buy rate for lighting systems for security purposes?
If I understand the question, how frequently people are buying these solar products?
Yes, it seems like
security.
The buy rate for lighting systems. Yeah.
Yes, I think, especially with crime these days, everybody wants an outside light, and nobody wants to pay the energy cost. So there's a divine way of achieving that. Buy a solar flood lamp and put it on your roof or put it on your gate or put it somewhere, and in doing so, then you have no need to pay anybody for the energy that you are using. And so, but a lot of people are coming in and buying. A lot of people are coming in and buying.
And you have that solar
flood
lamp.
We have solar flood lamps that they can come in and achieve their goals. So,
yes. I personally bought the LED floodlights, and those work pretty well.
You need to step up to the solar one.
10 watts, I was like, not
you were
bad,
just doing a fancy thing.
I'll consider the solar for sure. Next one comes in from Randy Burgess. Can Mr. Foster speak to the agreement with JPS for the pole-mounted transformer repair reported in Q3? Is the factory built out completed and have operations commenced? And how will the JPS deal with the impact revenue?
All right. I think I understand what he's saying. The factory at Hayes Clarendon has been built out. Correct. And the operations has started.
Just started.
Yes, just started.
Yes.
And JPS dealing with the revenue, the last part.
Revenue impact, yes. I'm not.
They are going to benefit greatly.
Yes.
Because they're going to save close to, we calculated,
yes,
close to $1 billion over a 3-year or so period. And so that's going to be good for JPS, and it's also going to be good for Jamaica, because now these repairs are being done here in Jamaica. Instead of you send these products abroad, have them done there and bring them back. And so it's a win-win for the country and for the company, our two companies.
Excellent. And again, from my experience, I can say on the JPS side, I mean, JPS spends tens of millions of US dollars per annum maintaining the grid, and it's usually between the transformers and the poles. And this was always a huge gap and need of JPS to have a local manufacturer repairing the transformers at good quality, and I have no doubt that you guys are going to fill that gap. The last question I have from social media, I believe, is one we had before pretty much, which asked about opportunities to expand globally, and do you think export is a possibility, and if so, to whom? So asking about you moving globally and whether you think exporting is something you could do.
Well, the whom is not something we can say, but the desire to export to the Caribbean at least is very strong, and I think we are looking at that with a team right now.
Yes.
As I mentioned earlier on, we are with the Export Max program, and we think something good can come from that before it is over.
I appreciate that you can't release it before it happens, but for sure, throughout the CARICOM, on the energy side, the needs are always there, and wherever Foster is manufacturing and manufacturing competitively, then it's natural to me, you don't need to comment, that they would be able to look to those markets, to move into those markets.
Yes.
Even the transformer repair business, I mean, we were trying to always partner with other CARICOM brothers in the utility sector to make that happen. So thanks again, folks, for those questions out there. We actually had a question earlier on Instagram which asked folks, did they know who Fosteridge was partnering with? And that answer was Huawei. And we've had a few people answer that question correctly. So we have a few giveaways and prizes that you will be getting from Fosteridge. I know of at least 2 persons, Jeff Santa and Brandon Thomas. Congratulations, guys. Thanks for following us on Instagram and for answering those questions correctly. At this time, we'd like to go into our usual top stock pick segment, but this week we'll be doing it a little bit differently. This week we want to look at previous stock picks that we've made right here on the program and see how they've been doing. And the first one we want to look at is JMB Bank, stock we recommended a few weeks ago. And we have the graph that shows the history of how this stock has traded. This is a stock, again, that they had an APO approximately 18 months ago where they raised $14 billion at $38. That stock has come down to a low of 30 when we recommended it. Today it's up to about $32. And once again, I want to repeat the fact that we think JMB is just a great company, trailing earnings of $6.6 billion. This is perhaps the 3rd most profitable bank in the market. And just a great team over there at JMB. We continue to think this stock is a great buy. And I personally believe this stock will be back to $38 before you know it. Moving on to the next one. Lasco Manufacturing. I think we made this recommendation maybe last week, Gary, or the week before. Just last week, I think, yeah. And that stock price has already moved substantially. So looking at the graph, the dot on the graph shows the point where the stock was when we recommended it, which was roughly $3.90, already up to $4.40, with earnings results coming out recently, and they've just knocked it out of the park, showing notable growth in their revenues, 6% growth in revenues up to $6.2 billion, and 30% growth, I beg your pardon, in their profit. They've grown their profit for the 9 months to December 20th by 30% compared to the prior period, tipping $1 billion in the 9-month period. So again, it's a stock we recommended at $3.90, now at $4.40. That's a PE ratio of approximately 14 times. Still has legs in it. Remember, the junior market average is 23 times. So at 14 times, this stock is relatively cheap. Next one up would be Lumber Depot. Again, a stock we recommended just a few weeks ago when the stock price was at $1.50, if you look at the dot again on the graph. And that stock has ramped up to $2. And again, the PE ratio for this stock demonstrates the fact that it has still a lot of potential to grow. That PE ratio, when we recommended, was 10 times on the 20th of January, and today it's at 14.5 times as of the 9th of February. But again, in a junior market where the average is 23 times. And so I still think Lumber Depot has good legs in it. They've definitely shown growth in revenues. As you can see, 80% growth in their net profit based on the 6 months results to October 2020. And we're looking forward to seeing results come out again for the next quarter in short order. So a great company. We continue to like Lumber Depot, JMB, and LASM. Great companies. Good deal. So Continuing this segment, I'd like to look at the top decliners and gainers for the week. And we have Everything Fresh declining by 16%, T-Tech declining by approximately 13%, and Dolphin Cove declining by 13%, Genac down by 9%, Key Insurance down by 9%. So 2 insurance companies, 1 tourism company. In terms of the top gainers for this week, we have PGX first, up by 24%. Paramount, up by 13.28%. Express Caterers, up by 12%. CAC, up by 11%. And SIL, up by approximately 11%. So that pretty much explains the activity for the week. Gary, any thoughts on what's happening in the market in recent times? There's lots of earnings results that have been coming out.
We see the trend continue. So the food companies, Lasco Manufacturing, Lasco Distributors, they've done pretty well. To grow earnings by 30% in this period is good. You see other companies still being affected by COVID and the activities associated with COVID. I believe the consensus was we would have, by the end of the first quarter, we would have seen a general return to normalcy. But unfortunately, we've seen where cases have spiked. We've seen the curfew move from 10 to 8. So there are concerns that we still have some more time before we start back on the road to recovery. So I think during that period, we'd expect the food companies to continue to make double-digit returns, and the other companies that have been trying to weather the storm, you will continue to see them trying to reduce burn rate to preserve capital for the return to normalcy.
Absolutely. And Chairman Berry, what are your thoughts? Tourism's definitely going to go through a little bit of a challenge for the next 3 to 6 months. Any general comments on the market, COVID, earnings results just recently coming out?
Don't chase the dollar. I expect it to strengthen over the next few days.
Excellent. You said that a few weeks ago when the dollar touched 150, and we see it tapering off a little bit. But with the curfews coming back again, Chris, how are you feeling about that?
I don't think the curfews will last long. It's not really serving much purpose, and people need to get along with their lives, and Jamaica can't afford it, so I don't think it will last very long.
I appreciate that, Chairman. Of course, we look forward to the vaccine being distributed, to us getting the numbers under relative control, towards tourism eventually picking up back, which we think could start as early as in the summer to some extent. But I do think the next 3 to 6 months are going to be a little bit challenging for the tourism folks. But we have every confidence that they're going to bounce back pretty strong this week. So we look forward to looking to some more earnings. We know there are more earnings that are coming out over the next few days. Pretty good results that came out in the last week and a half, perhaps only with National Commercial Bank, to my recollection, having some challenges, but otherwise we saw good earnings results from quite a few companies, and so we look forward to continuing to analyze that. So again, this week we won't have any specific top picks. We focused on the last 3 top picks we have, so listen out keenly next week, guys, as we continue talking about previous stock picks and upcoming stock picks for the market. Good deal. Cecil, do you follow the stock market much?
Yes, I do.
Is there any stock out there that you like or you'd like to recommend?
Yes, I like Grace.
You like Grace?
Lasco Distributor.
And Lasco Distributors. I don't know if you watch our program, but we recommended Grace Kennedy as well too.
Yes.
A few weeks ago when that stock was around $60. If my memory serves me well, that touched $80 today or yesterday.
I think so, yes.
And has done really well.
They're building up a warehouse down beautiful expansion down there to do much more than
Well,
they're doing right now. Yeah.
Absolutely. Grace Kennedy is just, kicking. They're doing extremely well.
Yeah.
Continuing to the market segment, I'd like to look at two top stories that we actually have out on our website, Instagram. We encourage you to look at that. First has to do with Tropical Battery Limited, which has recently come out with a dividend declaration. So that's pretty encouraging, especially in the context of them showing results, where they took a little bit of a dip in the results, but if you look at that carefully, there was a $25 million deferred tax adjustment, so it's primarily non-cash, and I think it's a company that's going to do extremely well. Second one we spoke about on our website, and we encourage you to check it out, is Seprod, coming out with great results again, reporting a year-end net profit of $3.1 billion. So Seprod is really doing well. And congratulations to the team over there. I think we're going to have Richard Pandui on our program in a couple of weeks, and so we look forward to that. So, Chairman or Gary, unless you guys have any closing remarks?
No, my only remarks, slow and steady wins the race.
I appreciate that. So to our viewers, thank you all for being a part of our weekly investor forum. I'd like to also thank our special guest, Cecil Foster, for his participation in today's program. Thank you, Cecil. I really appreciate that. Be sure to follow us on social media and to stay up to date with our live streams. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mayberry Investments Limited. I'd like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in today, and we wish you to keep safe. And next week we won't be on, but look forward to us in the following week. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye.